Well, good afternoon, everyone. Matt Johnson over at SFREP. I'm really glad that all of you could join us today. I know we have a lot of both current customers and maybe customers in here. So really glad you could take some time out of your day to join us as we're going to talk about the new UAD in Appraise-It Pro. Now, I do encourage all of you to ask questions. Feel free to use the chat that's going to be over on the right-hand side of your screen. If you're not signed into YouTube, or if you're watching this after the fact, you can also email us directly. The best way to do that is just using this email address, training@sfrep.com, and I'll be happy to answer any questions about UAD 3.6 in general or our implementation of it. And I can answer any pricing questions, anything like that that you might have. And if you are wanting to get with us and try out Appraise-It Pro, I'll tell you about how you can do that at the end of the webinar, but you can give us a call anytime, 800-644-4051. That's 800-644-4051, and we will be glad to get you set up. You can also do it on your own, and I'll show you how you can do that a little bit towards the end of this webinar. Now, we're not going to take a ton of time with this webinar. It doesn't take long to kind of show you what we've got. I do want to go over some background on the new UAD, and then we'll kind of ease into showing you what it looks like with Appraise-It Pro. So, once again, my name is Matt Johnson. I'm the Communications Director over at SFREP. Been with the company for, I'm in my 19th year now, and I am in Charlotte, North Carolina. So for those of you, I know a lot of you are current customers, but for those of you who may not be that familiar with us, I want to tell you a little bit about us. First of all, we were born in 1983, so we've been doing this for quite a long time. We were in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. But back in the early 90s, one of our co-founders relocated to the mountains of Western North Carolina, and that kind of brought us into the Carolinas region. And so today we have our programming and our tech support mostly based in the mountains of Western North Carolina, centered around Asheville and the town of Silva. And then we also have a lot of our sales office people down in the upstate of South Carolina, centered around Greenville, Spartanburg. So a little bit about Appraise-It Pro for those of you who are not familiar with us and with Appraise-It Pro. In 2019, just before the COVID-19 pandemic, we launched Appraise-It Pro, and we completely rewrote our software from the ground up using Microsoft's development environment. And because of that, we have all new modern code, and we were able, because of that, to do some really cool things with the new UAD, which you'll see here in a little bit. And one of the cool things that we were able to do because of this is do what's called a what you see is what you get interface with Appraise-It Pro. While some of the other software vendors out there took a different approach, which is more of a wizard interface where you kind of start, fill out some information, click next, fill out some more information, kind of like TurboTax. We were able to build the software directly into our current software, build the new UAD into our current software. And do a what you see is what you get. So you're actually going to be filling out the new UAD very much in the same way that you were filling out the current UAD or the previous UAD, the older UAD. So a little bit of background on UAD itself. In 2018, the Federal Housing Finance Agency, which is also known as FHFA, directed Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac to revisit both the UAD and the forms appraisers use to complete reports. The GSEs interviewed dozens of industry stakeholders, lenders, vendors, AMCs, trade groups, government agencies to better understand the greater appraisal ecosystem's needs and pain points. So the GSEs set out to design an updated appraisal dataset that could handle all the relevant property types and cover data points that were missing from the initial implementation of UAD, as well as a completely new data-driven dynamic report that adapts itself to each appraisal. During their work over the following years, they maintained a relationship with industry stakeholders to get ongoing feedback. The end result is a near universal report that is flexible enough to handle any property and can be added to and easily add data points can be removed or they can be added If they're no longer needed, they can be taken out. If we need new stuff, we can add it in. So this is the big thing. This is going to be the timeline. And this is what we've been focused on as software vendors. So the first date is September 8th, 2025. And that's when everything is going to get started. That's when the GSEs are going to start working with the lenders, and they're going to start issuing orders to appraisers who have said, hey, I'm ready. I can go ahead and start doing UAD 3.6 reports. Things will probably start out pretty slow at first, but then they'll start to ramp up as we get into the latter half of this year and into next year. The next date is going to be January 26th of next year. And this will mark the beginning of the broad production period. And that's when lenders are going to really kind of start ramping up orders, and they're going to start accepting these orders more and more through the UCDP. Next, and this is the big date, is going to be November 2nd of next year. And this is the mandate date. At this point, all lenders must use the new UAD 3.6 for all submissions. So this is when you are going to essentially stop doing the current reports, and everybody's going to start doing the next reports. And then there's one more date you need to be aware of, and that's going to be May 3rd of 2027, 2 years from now. And this is going to be the official retirement date. There are going to be some reports that are in the pipeline and are going to be, doing reviews and, updates and things like that. By May 3rd, that should all be cleared out, and the old UAD reports will officially be retired. So the new URAR is a massive departure from the forms that we use today. And they're very adamant about this. They don't want it to be called a form at all. They want it to be called a report. So this dynamic report alters itself to suit the assignment, with fields and sections appearing and disappearing as needed, as you saw in that little video there. And of course, I'm going to show you that here in a little while with Appraise-It Pro. And this new report, see, even I do it sometimes. This new report is going to replace all of those GSE forms that we use today. So, same report, whether you're doing what we would have done with a 2055 or a 1073, and it's going to basically morph into the report that you need based upon the answer to some of the questions and the checkboxes that you check and the pull downs that you do. And while there is one unifying report, there are going to be two other report types, quote unquote. The 1004D and the 442, it's going to be replaced with the restricted appraisal update report and the completion report. But it's very similar to the same concept. It's going to be a dynamic form. So with the new URAR, there are no more text and photo addenda. Sections can dynamically resize to fit their content, and you're going to see that here in a couple of minutes. And it'll allow for the report content to be presented contextually. Photos and text appear in the relevant sections of the report. So if you are, say, talking about some siding work that was done on the house, or the house needs new siding, or it has some damage to the siding, that can all be put narratively in a text box that will be next to that photo. And as you can see here, text boxes can dynamically change their size so that you can put as much information in there as you want. You could type 2, 3, 4 paragraphs in there if you wish. So this is going to be a new paradigm. The GSEs left the software user interface up to the software vendors. They don't care how the information is gathered and presented to you, the appraiser. They left that up to us. They care about the end result. So with the old static forms, everybody's software functioned at a basic level identically. So if you were looking at a la mode, it looks a lot like Appraise-It Pro. It looks a lot like ClickForms. It looks a lot like ACI software. Kind of didn't need to reinvent the wheel. Everybody was kind of doing it the same. And it wouldn't be a stretch to feed a blank 1004 into a typewriter and fill it out. And this is something you cannot do with the new dynamic form. Report. See, I even do it. Now, some of the software vendors, including us and a la mode, were able to build dynamic engines that let the appraiser interact with a representation of the output report directly, meaning that we are presenting it to you as the final printed product, because that's what you guys have been doing for decades. So that's the way that we chose to do it. Now, when I say that a la mode has chosen this route, they have not shown a finished product yet. I'm going off of what they themselves have shown us and told us. So I'm assuming that that's the way that they're going to build it. They're building it into their existing software, and they're using that what you see is what you get type of paradigm. Now, some other software vendors, including ACI and Bradford, built editor interfaces that bear some or no resemblance to the output report. And you'll find, you'll fill out all the data and the conclusions, and then the software will generate the report for you. And this is what I was talking about when I said they're using the wizard interface. They're collecting some information from you. You click next, collect some more information, you click next. Bradford and ACI also chose to go a web form route as well. So it's going to be like an online web-based solution. Okay, so now is the time for you to go to your software vendor. If it doesn't happen to be us, now's the time for you to go to your software vendor and see how they are going to be implementing the new UAD. Bradford has shown off screenshots. ACI has shown all of their cards. They kind of showed off at the ACT show down in San Antonio everything that they're going to be doing with their web-based version. A la mode has not yet publicly shown what they're doing. I have seen it privately. It's very similar to what we're doing. And of course, we have been showing you guys what we're doing and what we have for the last 4 or 5 months now. Now, I don't know this for sure, but based on what I saw at the ACT show, we seem to be further ahead than most of the other software vendors. So I'm going to toot our own horn there for a minute. All right, so looking ahead, there's a wealth of information out there on the new UAD. We actually did a webinar last week that you can go back to our website, or excuse me, to our YouTube page, which is youtube.com/SFREP, and you can go watch that video. Just click on the live section, and it's been archived there. And it should show up on the front page there as well, where we go a lot more in depth to the new UAD. But you can also do some training that has been done by Fannie and Freddie with visual examples and everything. You can just simply go to fanniemae.com/UAD or freddiemac.com/UAD to do some of that training. And we do encourage you to go to your favorite continuing education provider. Make sure that you are up to date and know what's coming with the new UAD 3.6. This is all coming in September. Of course, you will not be required to start doing these new reports in September, but a lot of the lenders are going to start asking, hey, are you compliant with UAD 3.6? Can your software do it? Have you updated? And it will be great if you can say yes. It'll make you look really good, and you'll get a leg up and be able to start doing this now. So if we have any questions, I want you to get them into the chat, which is going to be over on the right-hand side, or if you've expanded this window to take up most of the screen in theater mode for YouTube, it might have moved down to the bottom. Looks like Sue says, do you have to write everything new each time? I have common responses and fixed statements. How do you manage that? I'll show you that. And the answer to that is no, you will not be able to. With our software, you will be able to do both common responses, or whatever you want to call them, canned responses, and you will also be able to use and create templates as well. Some of the software vendors don't seem to be doing templates. I'm not 100% sure on that. It could just be that they didn't have it available yet, but our software will work very similar to the way it has always, and you'll be able to do both templates and have canned responses. So we're going to go and take a look at my screen here, and this is going to be showing you Appraise-It Pro. Now, if you've never seen our software, welcome. Here it is. It's very modern looking. It looks very similar to Microsoft Office. That's no mistake. We designed it in the Microsoft development environment for Windows. One of the cool things about our software, and a lot of people ask, hey, will your software work on a Mac? And we are able to say yes. Now, you have to use Parallels in your Mac, But once you have Parallels installed and get all that set up, you can actually run Appraise-It Pro in a window next to your Mac OS software. And the cool thing about Appraise-It Pro, two things. One, we fully support you running it on a Mac. And two, our software is fully compatible with ARM-based processors, which are what the new MacBooks and iMacs are based off of, the M-class processors, the M3, the M4. Our software runs bare metal, meaning it runs right on that processor, so you're able to take full advantage and have a really good, smooth experience when you're running our software on a Mac or on some of the new laptops out there that are being released now that have Snapdragon ARM-based processors in them. Other software will work on those, but they have to work in an emulation environment, and it really makes things quite sluggish. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to come down here to New. Now we have a webinar that we do that explains and shows you how Appraise-It Pro works. You can go back to our YouTube page, which is youtube.com/SFREP, and we've got a bunch of live webinars on that and a bunch of videos and playlists that show you how to use Appraise-It Pro. One thing I do want to show you is I'm just going to open up a blank current UAD 1004, and you'll see that this looks just like a, if you're not using Appraise-It Pro or if you're not using Appraise-It Classic, this will look very similar to whatever software you currently use. It's all the same paradigm. You're just going to be typing into these fields, filling it out, and it's a graphical representation of the report that will eventually be delivered and printed out. So we'll close out of this, and in the same program now, because keep in mind, as far as I know, both ACI and Bradford are going to have separate programs for the new UAD. So remember I told you during that time frame, starting in September, going all the way to next November, where both forms are going to be accepted, you're going to be going back and forth doing some UAD 2.6 reports, doing some UAD 3.6 reports, going back, having to go back to your old software to do those UAD 2.6 reports, and then switch over to the new software for the new stuff. And then when you go back and you're trying to do your non-lender work, all of those other forms that aren't UAD related, you're going to have to keep switching back and forth between software. In our software, you are not going to have to do that. You're going to stay in Appraise-It Pro. So I'm going to come back over here, and that's where I opened up my UAD 2.6, but I'm just going to cruise down here, and right here, UAD Uniform Residential Appraisal Report. This is the new UAD 3.6. So if I open that up, here we go. Now this is a test version of Appraise-It Pro. This has not been released to the public yet. We are planning on we're going to start beta testing this with users who request it in the summer. I don't have an exact time yet, but it's going to be soon. If you want to get onto our beta test program, you can just simply send an email to beta@sfrep.com. We'll be happy to use it, add you, so you can kind of play around with it. And for those who use Appraise-It Pro, this is going to look very familiar. Over here, you have your report, different sections of the report. The validator right now is not working, but this validator will work very similar to the way it does in the UAD 2.6, where it's checking everything you're doing as you go along, and then you can initiate a comprehensive validation when you're done filling everything out. Your responses, addressing what Sue asked over here on the right-hand side, your responses are going to be here. Actually, let me come back here and change this view so it's correct. There we go. This will be where your responses are. And then the format panel may or may not go away. It's definitely not going to be, this is where when you go into a UAD field, it'll give you some fields, some forms you can fill out, some fields you can fill out. This may go away. I think it probably will. So I'll just go ahead and get rid of it there. But this is the form. This is the new UAD. And you'll notice over here, you can't add or remove stuff or move it around. And that's because everything is already fixed in there. And things will get added or removed dependent upon how you start answering questions. And to kind of show you how that's going to work, I'm going to come over here to the sales contract section. Now, our developers were really proud of this, and I'm proud of it too. I love the way it works. You're going to kind of see things start to fill in below this. So you'll see this a lot. If you go to the cost approach section, you'll see it too. You go to the cost approach section, there's not much here until you say yes, and then boom, the cost approach fills in below, and you can start filling things out. If you go back up here and you say no, it all disappears. So if I come back over here to the sales contract, I can say yes, yes, no, no, and things will start filling out. And if I put text in here, this is just some whatever text that I'm going to put in there. You can see how it started to grow. And if I keep pasting more and more in here, the field just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And this way you don't have those annoying additional comment pages that the user has to, the reader of the report has to go thumbing through and finding. Everything is going to be there in context in the place where you're talking about. The fields just get bigger. I can come over here and put a contract price. I can put a date in here, or I can use this date picker here. And there are also pull down menus here to select things from here. Nicole says, will you have a mobile version available for where an iPad can be taken on the inspection and form filled out and photos added at that time? Absolutely, we will. We already have a new mobile sketch solution, and we're going to be expanding all of that out into a fully fledged inspection app that you'll be able to take into the field, fill all this information out. It'll sync up to the cloud, and then you'll be able to pull that into Appraise-It Pro. So absolutely. You can also take Appraise-It Pro with you on a laptop and fill it out in the field if you wish to do that. Or you can use remote control apps on your iPad or on whatever Android tablet that you might have to fill things out. The cool thing is this new app is going to run on anything and everything. It's going to run on Android. It's going to run on iPads, iPhones, Android phones. It'll even run on Mac OS, and it'll run on Windows. So you'll be able to install it on all your devices and then use it out in the field to do your sketches, to organize your photos, and you will be able to collect all your data. We also, probably in 2026, might be sooner, but I think it's going to be probably 2026, we're going to be releasing a scan to sketch component to that as well, similar to what a la mode currently has. And to my knowledge, I think we're going to be the second company to have that, where you will basically be able to use the LiDAR sensor that's on both the iPhone Pro and Pro Max and the iPad Pros to essentially move around the room and have it scan the room. They call it scan to sketch. You scan the room and it measures everything. You just tell it where the corners are and it's going to do the sketch for you. Sue asks, is that where I can put common responses already in the dropdown you just did? No. So your common responses will be over here in this section right here. So where would be a good example of this? If we came over here to, let's say, dwellings. Well, no, let's just do subject property. Let's say you had so you can see it at work right here. So for city, if I wanted to put Charlotte, I could either double click here and it'll put Charlotte in there. Or I can just start typing C. Well, that part's not working right now, but it will be working. You can just start typing CH and it'll fill it in for you. I've also assigned these to F keys up at the top of my keyboard, so I can hit F4 to fill in Charlotte. And I can also hit F2 on the keyboard and just use the keys on my keyboard, the arrow keys, to select from the list. So that's where your common responses will be. Another question, do I need Wi-Fi to fill out forms when I'm out in the field? No, you will not. Whether you are filling the form out on a laptop or Windows tablet that's running Appraise-It Pro directly, or if you are using the mobile app to fill out this information, you will not have to have Wi-Fi. You'll eventually have to have Wi-Fi in order, or data connection, whether that's through cellular or whatever, in order to sync that data back up to the cloud so that you can use it in Appraise-It Pro. And if you're using Appraise-It Pro on a laptop in the field, you'll need a data connection in order to use, say, mapping and some other stuff that requires internet connection. But no, you will not have to have a data connection when you're in the field in order to fill out the information, do the sketch, and organize your photos and things like that. There's been some misinformation that's been going on out there as well. Basically, people are being told that they have to use a mobile app with the new UAD. You do not have to use a mobile app with the new UAD. We and other software providers would love it if you would, and I think it will make your life a lot easier if you do, but you are not required to. As a matter of fact, you could just, make out a little sheet or a cheat sheet or a form on your own. We're actually going to probably make one as well, but you could make a form out with Microsoft Word, print it off, take it with you, put it on your clipboard, and gather all your information that way like you always have. There's no requirement that you have to use a mobile app. It will make your life easier, for sure, if you get used to doing that, but it's not required. Now, the one last thing I want to show you here with Appraise-It Pro, and I do want it to be clear, Appraise-It, we are very, very far along in this. We are going to start beta testing this summer, and it's already summer. Well, it's almost summer. So we're going to be beta testing this very soon. We're finishing up some of the back end stuff, but and this is actually an older version of Appraise-It Pro that I'm running right now because I know that it's nice and stable. They've finished a lot more that I just don't have in this particular build of Appraise-It Pro that I'm showing you. But I'll be showing some of that stuff off coming up soon. But we are, for the most part, almost done with this. So we'll start out the beta testing phase. We're in what a lot of people would call the alpha phase right now, meaning that we're doing internal testing. Then we'll expand it to beta testing, which is volunteers will start playing around with it. Unfortunately, when you're doing beta testing, we're going to be doing that before the actual form is accepted anywhere. So you're going to be kind of just playing around with it and trying to break it, but that's what we want people to do. And then we'll be ready on September 8th when they start accepting UAD 3.6 reports. Judging by what I saw at the ACTS conference down in San Antonio in April, we seem to be quite a bit further along than everybody else was. So one of the things I'll show you here is when you come to the sales comparable section. And by the way, you'll notice up here, I've got these tabs. As I'm opening up different sections of the report, it's putting tabs up here, kind of like a web browser. You can also pull these tabs out, have them be free floating windows, and you could put them on to another monitor or something like that. And then when you're done, you can pop them back in, or you can just close them out. But in the sales comparable section here, and actually let me close this, and I'm going to open up a report that actually has some data in it. So we'll come back over here to open, and we're going to do this single family residential scenario here. So I'll come back down here to sales comparables, and we've implemented side-by-side comparables for everyone. So I can just keep clicking add comparable and add more comparables in and just keep scrolling out to the right to see all of them. But you'll notice when I'm doing that, if I start scrolling down here, things start to fill in. This is what I'm talking about of some of this back-end stuff that we're doing right now. We're doing a lot of optimization so that when this gets released, it won't do this. It'll just be there waiting for you. But when you got to get the big stuff done first, and then you come back and you kind of clean everything up, and that's what we're in the process of doing right now. Okay, some more questions. Sue asks, more comments such as this. Let's see. I'm sorry. This is on the other side of my monitor. I have bad eyesight, so I'm just trying to read it. More comments such as this is a typical PNS for a VA transaction or conventional. This is all in a drop down for contracts, so this has to be written each time. Yeah, you'll be able to put that stuff in responses. Yeah, plain and simple. Chris, can you still clone a previous report, i.e. if you have already done a very similar property in the same development? That's a little bit of a complicated answer. You can most certainly clone another UAD 3.6 report. You can import information from a UAD 2.6 report into a UAD 3.6, but you're going to be pretty disappointed in what actually ends up coming back. Because a lot of that, the old UAD is very much formatted with a lot of abbreviations and everything. So those abbreviations are no longer used in the new UAD. The new UAD is going to be very easy for new appraisers to learn on, and it's going to be much easier for home buyers and sellers to be able to read appraisal reports as well. Like, it's going to be so much easier for them because there aren't all those abbreviations. But because there aren't all those abbreviations, those aren't going to translate and come over. So while you can grab information from an old report you may have done a couple months ago in the old UAD 2.6 format, it won't translate very well to the new UAD. Sue once again asks, I have very little Wi-Fi connection in my area, rural New England, Vermont. So glad to hear that I can do all this back at the office. Absolutely. Our company technical operations are in Western North Carolina, and the same mountain range that you're in Vermont is the same one that we have in here in North Carolina. It's just the mountains are bigger. And there are coves and hollers and whatever you want to call them, valleys, where you go and you just can't get a cell signal. You certainly don't have Wi-Fi. You don't have a cell signal there. So when you're in those rural areas, you will not have to have a data connection in order to fill all this stuff out. Let's see. Sorry if this was answered already. Will transferring from MLS or Spark be possible? Absolutely. Spark, all of the helper applications like Spark, we're working on integrating with Solomon. Let's see who else. Data Master, all of those programs will work with the new UAD. They may not work day one. That's really up to people like Spark and Data Master. They specifically did their own integration with us. So as soon as they get it working, then absolutely it will work with us. So I can't guarantee day one. All of our stuff will work day one. Can't make 100% guarantee that Spark will, but it will for sure. Let's see here. Let's see. Randy asks, can photos be imported or transferred from my database, i.e. a comp photo? Absolutely. Our comp database will work 100% with it'll continue to work with the old UAD 2.6, all of your old non-lender forms, and then it will also work with the new UAD 3.6. But once again, you're not going to love the data transfer that's going to come from an old UAD 2.6. So there'll be this painful period in the beginning where you're having to retype a lot of stuff. You're having to go grab information and fill it in. But as you start doing more and more UAD 3.6 reports, that's going to start building up your database, and you'll be able to have that old information brought over easier that way. So it's going to be one of the pain points during this transition, the old data not being very compatible with the new data, but that's just the nature of the beast. Let's see here. Chris says, sorry, I meant, can you clone a new UAD to new UAD? Absolutely. No problem with that at all. Basically, cloning is what we call templates. So in Appraise-It Pro, a template is nothing more than a regular report file that has been promoted to template status. So if I pre-filled all this information out, maybe put some demographic information that's about the city as a whole, or maybe I've got an image of my seal. Like, I know if you're in Missouri or North Carolina, you have to put an image of your seal on there. You can put that into your template, and then all you do is you come up here to save as, and instead of save as report, you select save as template, you name it, and then boom, you've got a template. And you'll be able to do that with the new UAD as well as the old UAD. And that's going to be one of the fundamental things that I think really makes Appraise-It Pro shine in this. You're not using a whole different program. All of this is built into the same program that you may have, hopefully some of you, a lot of you have been using already. And for those of you coming over from another software vendor, you're going to be able to keep filling out reports in the way that you've been doing it. But that's going to be really key, is that if you're using ACI or Bradford, you're going to be constantly going back and forth between your old software and your new software. And you may not be able to import information from the old one. You have to copy and paste stuff. With Appraise-It Pro, you're going to be in the same program. So you got one program you got to worry about and learn. Oh boy, where were we? Lots of great questions here. Jennifer asks, will Comp Manager show you if the comp is from 2.6 or 3.6? Yes, it will. Doesn't right now, but it will, for sure. Sue says, I'm assuming I could just cut and paste a town description, etc. Absolutely. You'll be able to copy and paste things from one of the cool things about Appraise-It Pro is you can come down here and you can click on new window. And what this does is it will start a whole new instance of Appraise-It Pro for you. So you could, if you have multiple monitors, you could have like a UAD 2.6 form on one monitor and a UAD 3.6 on the other monitor, and then copy and paste things between them. You can also drag and drop photos from Windows into Appraise-It Pro as well. Get a couple more questions in. Remember, if you are watching this after the fact, or if you have any questions that you don't think of right now and you think of them later, feel free to email me directly, training@sfrep.com or matt@sfrep.com. And you can also text me. If you want to text me. Now, I'm going to give you my phone number. I don't put it on the screen because then it'll get farmed and I'll start getting spam calls all the time. But I'm going to give it to you. So if you want to write it down, you're welcome to try and call me. But during the day, I'm usually on the phone or I'm doing something else and I may not answer. But if you text me at this number, because we have a phone system that allows us to text from our office number, I usually, even after hours, will answer your text. So my telephone number is area code 828-919-9082. 828-919-9082. Feel free to text me with any questions you might have. And, once again, email training@sfrep.com, or you can email me directly, Matt, M-A-T-T, @sfrep.com. I don't think we have any more questions coming in. So I want to thank all of you guys. By the way, one more thing I do want to tell you. The way that we license our software and the charge for our software is considerably cheaper than I think most of what you guys are paying if you are with another software company. First of all, we do not do contracts. You pay month to month. You can pay a year in advance if you want, but we do month to month. And if I pull this up here, so I'm going to pull this up so you guys can see it. So you can see my screen here. Okay, so if you come over here, pricing, this is how we do our pricing. First of all, there is no contract and we license directly to the signing appraiser. So if there are multiple people in your office that are not signing appraisers, maybe you have trainees or you have people that help you write reports, you have a secretary, we don't charge for them. You can install Appraise-It Pro and our mobile app on as many computers as you wish. Okay, we only charge to the signing appraiser. So if there's 2 signing appraisers, but there's 5 people that help write appraisals, you only pay twice. Our platinum plan is what most people coming over from other software vendors are jumping onto. It's basically all you can eat, everything you need for $99 a month. It includes 400 flood maps, which is more than, doing one flood map a day one report. It's charged by report. So if you have to redo it 3 times, it's still one charge. So 400 flood maps is more than one per day, including weekends and holidays. So it's basically unlimited for the year. We also, our most popular, I think, is probably gold. By the way, the platinum, it doesn't say it here, but we're going to be adding it soon. It also comes with a free website or a website at no extra charge. Now, if you want, you can do as little as $49 per month or $69 per month. And then a la carte add other stuff. So if you wanted to go with the silver plan and then add a mobile app and then maybe a website onto that, you most certainly can. And then, of course, if you're going to end up paying more than $99, we'll just move you over to the platinum plan. The other thing is we don't charge extra for running your software in a network environment, whether that be a shared network drive, whether that be in a remote desktop environment type setup, or if you want to use Dropbox or Box.net or OneDrive, Google Drive, any of those to share files back and forth, we both fully support that in Appraise-It Pro, and we support that with our tech support. We don't tier out our tech support. Everybody gets the same great tech support. And we don't do queues in our tech support because that's annoying. Nobody wants to sit on hold waiting for somebody. So on the rare occasions when you don't get somebody immediately picking up when you call, then you'll just leave a message and they'll give you a call right back. check out some other questions. I think we might have had one or two more come in. I'm assuming I could just, oh no, here we go. From David, I am currently with ACI and want to eventually switch to Appraise-It Pro. Would it be better off wait until all the bugs are out to switch over? I mean, of course I'm going to say this, but I think it'd be good to switch over now if you know you're going to do that, because you're going to want to learn Appraise-It Pro and learn how the old UAD works as well. And then you can start using the new UAD. The working the bugs out period is kind of built into the launch of the new UAD. You're not going to have a whole lot of UAD 3.6 reports coming in for you at first. That's going to start to ramp up as you get into Christmas, and then the new year, you're going to start seeing more and more and more UAD 3.6 dynamic report orders. But at first you won't. And that's one of the great things is we're a small company, and we're able to fix bugs very quickly and then put out patches and things like that. So personally, and once again, of course, I'm going to say this because I want you to come on over and start using us. But it will be to your benefit and your best interest for you to come over now and start learning the product, so that when you do start doing UAD 3.6, there's not as big of a learning curve. The cool thing, though, is with Appraise-It Pro, there's not going to be a terrible learning curve to begin with, because once again, you're going to be filling out reports in the same way you've been doing it for decades. Thank you, Jennifer. I think we have an amazing support team. Most of them are from the Western North Carolina area, so they're going to have a little bit of a Southern accent, but they're super, super helpful, and they're super polite. And we do offer tech support. We offer it from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern time, so that covers the West Coast until 5 p.m. And then we also offer support on the weekends. Now, we don't do 24/7 support because we tried that and nobody called. Nobody's working. There aren't a lot of people working at 3 or 4 in the morning. But we do offer it 7 days a week. Let's see here. Sue says, I already have Apex. Do you use that? Absolutely. As a matter of fact, Apex is a partner of ours, and we offer their brand new Apex Portal web app that works on any device. It's currently available right now, and you most certainly can bring your Apex 7 over, or Apex 6, or whatever Apex version you use, and use it with Appraise-It Pro. They're good friends of ours. They were at the ACT show as our guests. You're welcome, David. David said thank you, and so did Real Estate Services. All right, thank you guys. Thanks for showing up. We're going to be doing these periodically. At least once a month, we're going to be doing a webinar on UAD 3.6 and anything new that we learn, and showing you what we have as it evolves. We'll be doing at least one of these a month. We've done 2 of them this month. The previous one, and you may want to go back and watch that, was more of a deep dive into UAD 3.6 in general, not just, it was secondarily about its implementation in Appraise-It Pro. What it was really about was the history and how we got here. This was more about Appraise-It Pro and us wanting you to come over and join us. We will be coming up. We're going to be at the Texas Appraiser Association meeting. I forget the exact name of the organization, so my apologies. That's going to be just north of Austin in Georgetown, Texas. We're going to be there in August. Next month in June, in mid-June, we're going to be at the Ohio Appraiser Association, OCAP, I think is who it is, in Columbus, Ohio, at the Ohio State University. So we'll be there along with a couple of other software vendors. And then, of course, as usual, we will have a booth, and we will be participating in some panel discussions at both Valuation Expo in August and Appraisal Summit in September, both in Las Vegas. Valuation Expo is going to be at Caesar's Palace, which I don't know if you've ever been to Caesar's Palace, but that place is amazing. And then the Appraisal Summit is always at Planet Hollywood, which is also a great venue right there on the Strip. So make a vacation out of it. That's what I usually do. Sometimes my wife comes with me, and we just do a little Vegas thing. And then we'll be at AX, which was in San Antonio this year, and it's going to be in Seattle next year. We'll be there in the spring. Thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day to join us. Once again, if you have any questions, feel free to email me training at sfrep.com. You can get started with the new Appraise-It Pro if you wish by emailing sales@sfrep.com, or you can also call us and get set up with that at 800-644-4051. And then if you are the adventurous type, you can, let's see here. If you're the adventurous type, you can come to the main SFRP page and click on free demo Appraise-It Pro. When you click on that, it is going to download Appraise-It Pro. Just save it to your desktop, and then you run the install program. And as part of the initial first run, it's going to have you set up an account. We give away Appraise-It Pro free for 6 months, no strings attached. You can try it out for 6 months. At the end of that 6 months, if you decide that you don't like it, then we part ways, shake hands, and everybody's happy. So, but we think you're going to really like it. 6 months absolutely free. You can start that free demo. We usually tell people when you're about 6 months away from your contract renewal, if you're at ACI or a la mode, go ahead and start our demo. That way you've got some overlap going on there. But we'd love to have you. Small company. We're independently owned and operated, not part of a big conglomerate. And we've been doing this for a very long time. I myself have been with the company. I'm in my 19th year with SFRP. It's a great company to work for, and it's a great company to be a customer of. Thank you very much. I hope all of you have a great rest of your afternoon, and we will see you next time. Thanks a lot.